Hello, good morning. It's maybe 7 o'clock in Alabama, and you might hear the TV a little bit. Not that it matters, almost no one watches these videos, but I woke up at 6, woke up an hour ago, 5:30, 3:30, 4 o'clock in LA. And, every day that we persist in this way. 1 second. I found the remote. My dog was on it. My point is that sometimes the greatest inspiration arrives at the witching hour. Arrives in those hypnagogic trances between sleep and waking. So this is why we should all take pills every day. And I didn't do that. I had 2 beers. But anyway. I was thinking about the movie, of course I was thinking about the movie, and was Quentin asleep at 4 in the morning, and because I was asleep, and like he wasn't asleep because he realized like I was in his head because like he was relaxed, and the deepest levels of sleep, a neuroscientist would say, is deep dreamless sleep. It's not REM sleep. It's not dream sleep. That there's nothing, it's like the most minimal amount of neurological activity. Like no imagination, no world building. Right? It's a pure autonomic expression to keep your heart beating, keep your blood circulating, keep you able to sense things, right? But does it not stand to reason that if he's in that similar state, that's like, if we have this palpable connection, then that's the only time that I could actually, right, like sift through the gyrus, right? The convolutions of his brain, of his psyche, without having to deal with the force of his consciousness abating, right? My penetration. Anyway, regarding Quentin's infertility, I think I'm going to take that as gospel. I think that probably is true. Right? If we're talking about deep psychological shit here, then that does, right? And it's a perversion. This is a deep illness. It in no way justifies this behavior if the other people like don't want to do it, but it does psychologically justify the bondage fetish. Doesn't that, like, right? If you can only conceive as a psychic, then if you hate yourself and if you hate the world, and you can only express your sexual identity through controlling, right? Then it does in fact track completely why he, right, would feel compelled to only have like gratifying sexual experiences if the women involved are completely forced into their mind's eye. If they can't move, if they can't, it's like he's got like latex on, it's like the gimp, right? They can't fit, there's no sensation. They have to be like up here completely, you get it? Because then, right, while he's mechanically penetrating them, right, with his body, he's also conceiving lasting psychological memories in their minds. You get it? And that's like, that's the most fucked up thing you'll ever hear in your life, isn't it? Like, that's like, there it is. Right? And so, right, the revelation that I had this morning at the witching hour is that if the point of the movie was always to show, right, Hollywood tying up and fucking Mikey Madison and Sydney Sweeney, because, right, he ties up and fucks Mikey Madison and Sydney Sweeney, right, then does it not make sense That he would bring back the Spawn Ranch girls and Cliff Booth. Does that not kind of makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Where there's like but like Mikey Madison died like at the end of Once Upon a Time, she like jumped in the pool. We don't know that she died. Right? Right? This is like, no, there's like a joke about her in the hospital, and then it cuts back to her getting tied up. That's like, there it is. And she's got like a scar or something like on her face. Right? Right? And so the girls, right? The girls always knew what time it is, right? They've been miserable since way before I met him. He's been tying them up and fucking them since 2018, hasn't he? Right? So that's 6 years of bondage. Let my people go. By the time they read 5 years of bondage, by the time they read my letter. Right? So, right? They saw my material and said, like, why can't it be him? Like, why can't we decide, like, who, like, he has a real argument? Then it's not two old men being creeps, right? Like, that's, like, kind of makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Right? Anyway, I was thinking about Mikey a lot. I guess I was thinking about both of them as far as their family is, and like the idea of justifying it. They can't. That's the point. That they're like so low spiritually, psychologically, right? Because Quentin has broken them. They hate show business. They hate the movies, right? No one's done anything to protect them but me. Like, I'm the only one who's done anything, and I have no money. Right? And so that's... Right? There is a part of me that thinks that they're going to, like, cut their wrists or something like that. Like, for sure. Right? That like, the idea of, like, looking at their father, looking at their mother, and saying, yeah, it was great. Nothing happened. Right? They can't do that. They can't lie to their whole family for the next 50 years. You get it? Right? And so that's... Right? And so this is my fault. This is me not seeing, like, all the way, like, with my clairvoyance. You know, I saw Quentin being a fucking creep. I'm a psychic sledgehammer. I don't practice psychic occultism, right? I speak to people as a writer. You get it? And I allow my psychic clairvoyance to bring me where it needs to go as it's needed. And so the point is that these women need me to keep being, right, big dick dragon, psychic sledgehammer. Right? That's like, that kind of makes a lot of sense, actually. Right? That if, say, in the offices of WME, where my letter arrived, right, Mikey and Sydney said, nah, no more. We can't justify it in our minds anymore. Because, number one, he doesn't understand that it's us. Like, we know he's cool. And we can, like, talk to him. And he'll say, yes, please, sir, may I have some more? You know, like all these things. And, right, we don't think that it's cool the way that you treat us anymore. He's shown us that what you do isn't cool. That it is, in fact, manipulative. Does it not stand to reason? And he'll say, oh, they'll change their minds. I'll take them home. And compelled them to sign NDAs and has been holding them in a quasi-criminal fashion ever since for 15 months. Can you imagine? Right? Right? Always expecting me to divine, right, through his schizophrenic logic. Right? Oh, that Daniela will probably be on that set one day. Right? The one day that Leonardo DiCaprio reprised his role. Right? I was supposed to divine, right, that the scenes that they wanted me most of all to do, right, that's the only time. They said, oh, the continuing adventures of Cliff Booth is shooting, and it's Brad Pitt in front of the New Beverly, right? Like, this is like, that's like, you get what I'm saying right now? That I was supposed to go to the New Beverly and say, right, what's the deal? What's the fucking deal? I want to speak to the person in charge. And then he would have relinquished the women. You get it? It's really sick. It's really, like, he's so sick in his mind. right? And it's taken me all this time to really see the depth of his evil, which they've always known for the last 5 years. And this is why they were so dead set on me, because they knew that I was wise. They knew that, right, when they saw the Django and they saw the Hamlet, they saw the writing, right, that they knew that they could trust me, right? Not that I'm fine, like, so what? Like, yeah, like, goddamn, like, I hate that. But yes, like, I think that's, like, on a fundamental level, they were like, yes, hot actor, like, cool. He doesn't care about us. Like, he's like a real intellectual, and, like, it's not about violating us sexually on Quentin's film set. It's about helping Quentin make his last film. That's like how they saw it. And that's how it, of course, I didn't think the movie critic was fucking anyone. I would never have written Quentin if I knew there was a bunch of hardcore pornographic shit on that film set. Right? And this is what they loved about it, that every other actor, if anyone else did read it, and I don't think really anyone did, right, then the only thing that, anyway, my point is that it's always been about tying up and fucking Mikey Madison and Sydney Sweeney on camera, right? That's his statement. That's his statement to Hollywood. Say, 10 films, see, there it is. Right? This is what I'm doing when I make my last film. You understand, like, what I'm saying right now? Right? So if he's Charles Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and he's been manipulating all these women with psychic occultism, right? And there's 2 women, and the 2 women are still under his sexually sadistic torture now, right? Kind of makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Kind of makes you think, oh, god damn, that's really fucked up, but that does make a lot of sense, actually, psychologically, right? And so, seeing the film for what it is, seeing the statement that he was actually making intellectually, that they always hated that film, that they always hated that script, they didn't think it was funny, they didn't think it was cool, it's just an excuse to strip him naked, tie him up, and fuck him on a union film set. Like, yes, that's the point, right? That they knew that I didn't understand, and when I didn't eat his ass at Tribeca, they said, I bet he'll eat our ass. That's the point. We want to talk to him. Fuck your mind games. Right? NDA. Right? Permission waiver, right? And he exacts a sadistic psychic torture upon them constantly, right? And so this is why, again, like, it's all there, isn't it? Like, if he exacts a deep sadistic evil upon them as a clairvoyant because he hates the fact that he's broken genetically, right? Then does it not make sense that he would set up this elaborate psychic, right, thing, right, like cage, to put me in through Tribeca, right through, boom, this like huge like thing, right? And then, oh, I remember that's what I remember, right? When in reality, right, the women want me there because they've been tortured for a long time, you know, for like 5 fucking years now, you know. Does that not, like, kind of makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Right? And so when, right, I didn't complete the scene, that they all said, no, we got to talk to him. We got to talk, because he understands. That's why he didn't give you what you wanted. Right? And so, he's been keeping all 4 of those women, right, basically against their will, like, you know, to such a degree that they're terrified to even speak to me without worrying that he's gonna, right, exact the deepest, sickest black magic evil. And if they're in that house, right, if there's any truth in Appendix 3 of my novel, and he did send someone to HIV support groups in downtown LA, and he did solicit HIV-infected blood for his sadistic black magic evil to actually poison me with AIDS, right, then does it not, right? It also makes sense if they're at that house why they wouldn't do anything, because they don't want him to give them AIDS. You get it? That if he has the bag, right, if he has needles, like, with dirty blood, at any minute he could go, bam! Like, that's what you get for loving Brian, straight in your heart. Right? You're dirty, you have AIDS. You get it? Like, that's like, right? Because he can only conceive as a psychic. You get it? Right? And so if he can't control my mind, and that's why they, right, then he would use his mind to poison their bodies so that when we have each other biblically, right, we're all dirty and we can all ruminate on Quentin's power as a psychic. Do you understand, like, how sick that is? Do you understand, like, how completely disgusting that idea is? That he's so far gone in his mind that now he's taking these real steps towards keeping them from coming to me because he knows that he no longer controls their mind. So he's using his mind to control their bodies in disgusting ways. That's the point. And so I have to keep talking about it. Right? The purpose of the movie critic wasn't to have one last fun cinematic jaunt. Right? The purpose of the movie critic is to cast deep, sadistic black magic spells over the world. To justify Quentin's celestial fracture. To justify him being designed genetically flawed so that he cannot conceive. By forcing people to masturbate and conceive. By getting turned on. By watching Mikey Madison and Sydney Sweeney get raped on that film. And while it was occurring, right? They're bound, they can't move, right? They can't see, right? They can't speak, they got a gag, right? He was actively torturing them as a clairvoyant. Because in those instances, if they had a gimp suit on, then they couldn't feel anything. No sensory sensation, only mind, right? And so while Brad Pitt is forcibly raping them while the camera's rolling, right? Quentin's blasting them with visions of, right? Notions of them helping him give me AIDS, and saying all the things like, oh, Brian's a loser, Brian hates you, where's Brian? How's it feel? How's it feel to get fucked on my film set and not have Brian here? You get it? Like, it's really sick. It's really sick. I control you. Right? You have no say. You're chattel. You're an object. Fuck you. My boy fucks you. Right? Brian doesn't want to be my boy. He doesn't want to submit his mind to me. I fucking rape you on this film set, and then I make you talk about it at the Cannes Film Festival. Something to consider. God bless.